It's always wonderful to come back to the Melbourne Recital Centre. There's something about the atmosphere here which is really unique. You know, the moment you walk inside the auditorium and certainly on the stage, there's a warmth about it. Of course, the acoustics are great. There's something about the acoustic that loves the piano sound. But there's just a great atmosphere in there. And, you know, you can't say that about every place you go. So, you know, it's always fantastic to come back here. Yeah, so I had this idea about Haydn, Beethoven and Brahms because on the one side you have this sort of depth of seriousness in late Brahms, you know, this sort of depth of expression. On the other side you have this quirkishness of Haydn. You know, if there's one composer that can really raise a laugh out of an audience, it's Haydn. I personally think Haydn is underperformed. You know, it's not really performed so much, and maybe he's just not thought of too much in terms of, you know, piano recitals. But I mean, he's one of the most daring and often outrageous of all the piano composers. So you have that on one side and Brahms on the other. And I just thought, well, what ties this together? Well, actually Beethoven, because with the bagatelles and the Diabelli variations especially, Beethoven covers all of that. You know, especially in the late pieces, you have this something that's looking towards Brahms. You know, that kind of seriousness. And on the other hand, I mean, in the Diabelli variations and a lot of the bagatelles, you have this kind of humour, a sort of rather brash humour sometimes, maybe not quite as playful as Haydn. You know, you feel that Haydn's poking fun at you, whereas Beethoven just pokes that bit harder. But I felt that Haydn actually ties all this together because he really covers that whole range. So I just thought it was interesting to bring it together. I think that each set of bagatelles is a real journey in itself. Obviously, the Diabelli variations, they go where nothing else goes. I mean, that's completely different. It's a universe on its own. But there's something about the bagatelles, about each set, which kind of points towards the Diabelli. You know, each bagatelle and each variation in the Diabelli variations is a sort of, it's a snapshot of something, but it all adds up to something so much bigger. So I feel there's a connection there between the bagatelles and the variations. I think that cumulative effect is something that you really do experience over the course of a series like this. You know, it's clear in the Beethoven bagatelles that there is that I guess sort of building of experience as you go through. Certainly true in the Brahms. I mean, you know, by the time say 118, Opus 118, by the time you get to that devastating last piece, you know, you really feel that you've been through the mill. And it's a little bit, I guess it's a bit naughty of me to put the small Haydn G major sonata straight after that. It's like throwing a cold towel at the audience in a way. But I just thought, you know, to illustrate exactly how daring and quirkish Haydn can be, you know, I thought it was a good way to do it. Well, Haydn and Beethoven they're two composers I've played for a long time. Actually, Brahms not so much. You know, I had a Brahms problem for many years, and I think I got over it when I turned 40. Really, I think it's, you know, getting into middle age, then you sort of come into Brahms somehow. I always felt Brahms was quite locked into the perfection of the craft, in a sense. I mean, it's hard to describe exactly what that means, but I felt that Brahms writes his own rules and sticks to them, whereas if Beethoven and Haydn write rules, the main reason for writing those rules is to break them, you know, whereas Brahms sort of sticks to his plan. But I just don't see that as a problem anymore. There's something so honest and heartfelt about that I think we can all connect to. I guess, you know, these three composers having internalized their own struggle in that way, you know, it's interesting that you see that the more introspective music is often the more powerful. You know, it's what they're trying to come to terms with within themselves that really comes out in the music, and I think that's ultimately what has the biggest effect on us as we listen and live with it. It's something that you take as an experience. It's not just sort of listening to beautiful music, you know, it's something that goes much deeper than that, and that's the experience that you can take from it.